Good morning, students. How's it going? I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to yet another instructional and educational video on the VLP network. As always, I am your instructor, Holland. So I'm going to change things up a little bit for you guys. As you notice, we're not in my house and everything. I'm going to keep this video slightly less formal as well, just so that way I can teach better with the content that I'm bringing out today. One of the biggest questions I got asked was, how do you weight train for martial arts? Because one of the biggest problems is that people tend to bulk up, and when you're bulky, your ligaments and your tendons and just your overall size sort of inhibit your ability to move properly. And in martial arts, especially if you're going to do combat sports, you need a lot of flexibility and a lot of sharp, fast, explosive movement. Well, I have my method. I'm sure there are other people out there that have their methods, but I'm going to share my method today with you guys. And I usually get up fairly early, around 7 o'clock in the morning, to go train at the gym. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you with me so that way you guys can see kind of what I do. Today is going to be a chest day. If you guys want to see other subsequent workouts afterwards, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. I'll be happy to do that. But today is chest and tricep day, and you'll find that I train things a little bit differently. So let me shut off the camera. Let me drive over to the gym so that way class can be in session. Okay guys, so we made it to the gym here, and there's a few things I want to hit on before we go inside and actually start class. So when I am looking for a weight room specifically, not necessarily like an MMA gym or a martial arts gym, just a weight room for me to lift at, I look for a few different criteria, and if those criteria are not there, then I don't tend to go to that gym to lift weights. These are criteria that, in my opinion, you should kind of look for yourself as well if you're looking to lift for martial arts. The first things first, squat rack. You need to have a squat rack in the gym. I know some smaller gyms don't necessarily have squat racks. They have Smith machines. I personally don't use the Smith machine for a whole lot, except for maybe one or two different things. And it's not a proper replacement for a squat rack. Arnold Schwarzenegger, in an interview one time, he got asked if you could do one exercise for the rest of your life. If there was a magic spell on you where you could only do one exercise for the rest of your life, what exercise would it be? And he said back squat. And that's because back squatting works out way more than just your legs. Yes, the primary focus is your legs, your glutes, your quads and everything. But just to balance the weight on your shoulders and on your traps, one, you're working out your traps because that pressure is forcing your traps to work to keep the weight up off of your neck. Two, your lower back and, surprisingly, a lot of your core has to try and stabilize that. You also get a little bit of shoulders from trying to stabilize the weight. It's one of the best total body exercises. So if you're looking at a gym, a weight room specifically, always make sure they have a squat rack. Next, I try and make sure that they have multiple machines of everything. Multiple benches, multiple sets of dumbbells, multiple squat racks, multiple areas for deadlifting. And the reason for that is because with the exercises and the training that I do, I move at a very, very, very fast pace. In my opinion, that's what you need to do if you're going to train for combat. You don't have a whole lot of downtime, because in a fight you're not going to have a lot of downtime. So you want to make sure that you're able to go from thing to thing to thing very quickly. And if they only have one bench or one squat rack or one set of dumbbells at a certain weight, you have to wait for somebody else to get done using them, if somebody's using them, before you can use it, and it can really interrupt the flow of your training. And third, this is a rarity that a lot of gyms have. The gym that I'm at right now, Crunch Fitness, has them, in my experience, almost at every single location I've been to for a Crunch Fitness, they've had these, and that is heavy bags. Any sort of punching bag, whether it's a teardrop uppercut bag or it's just a standard long 100-pound heavy bag. If your gym has heavy bags, that is a huge plus, and I'm going to show you why in the training I'm going to do today. So lifting for martial arts and lifting for fighting. The person who really started to do this, like mainstream really, or the one that really started to bring this out as a concept, was actually Bruce Lee. If you've ever watched any of the videos of Bruce Lee training, that dude had a whole bunch of crazy equipment in his backyard that he had custom built for him. He was constantly weightlifting, constantly training his fitness. I mean, it's pretty apparent when you look at him in the movies. The dude is absolutely, I mean, he's shredded for one, and he looks tiny, but then when one of my favorite scenes is in Enter the Dragon, where he does the lat spread. I mean, he looks tiny, but then when he spreads his lats, he looks like a flying squirrel. That dude could jump out of a plane and not have a parachute and just kind of glide to the ground using his lats. He realized that a lot of martial artists and a lot of fighters, they weren't combining weight training properly with martial arts. He noticed that a lot of martial art masters, as they went on, were practicing their martial arts, but their fitness fitness had kind of taken a back seat, and that was not something that he believed in. So he took bodybuilding techniques and actually incorporated them into his martial arts training. He modified and he tweaked them, and that's kind of something that I like to do. For those of you that don't know, I actually competed in bodybuilding. I was a men's physique athlete. I'll put a picture up or two so that way you guys can kind of see. I was still a martial artist at the time, but at that point in time, I was lifting very, very heavy just so I could get the size and stuff like that. We're going to change things up a little bit for martial arts training here because the two are not the same. I've had a lot of students come in and train with me who were big, big, strong dudes. They could bench heavy, they could squat a lot, they could deadlift, but their mobility, their cardio, and everything had dropped to a very low level, and while they were big and intimidating, they were not effective in combat. And that's obviously the thing that you're trying to become. If you're trying to be a prepared human being, you want to be effective in combat, so you have to make sure your strength and conditioning focuses on that. I've been asked multiple times, well, martial arts or weightlifting, which one do you like more? Obviously, I like martial arts more. Martial arts takes my priority. If I can only have time in the day to train one thing, between weightlifting and martial arts, it's almost always martial arts. I use my weightlifting as a supplementation to my martial arts. And if you're looking to get into, well, quote, combat fitness, that's, in my opinion, what you need to do. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's go into the gym and let's start class. Okay guys, so first things first is the warm-up. You can do the warm-up any way that you really want, but me personally, I like to go on one of these bikes right here, set it for a pretty high resistance level, put my hood up, and then just kind of, you know, cycle it out for between 10 and 15 minutes until I'm nice and sweaty. And then after that, I like to stretch out, and that's what we'll go over next. So you can go on a treadmill, put at an incline, and just kind of walk at a decently fast pace, or you can kind of do it this way. It doesn't really matter. Just do some sort of warm up to where you're hot and you're somewhat sweaty, so that way you're pliable for stretching first. About halfway there. All right. One more minute and I'll be done. Then we'll get stretching. All right, guys, it's 15 minutes done. Got a nice little sweat going on, so now let's head over and stretch. Okay guys, so let's stretch. Now when you're stretching, you want to make sure that you're actually stretching out the body part and the muscle group that you're going to be training for that day. I'll just kind of show you what I do with my stretching routine for my chest and my triceps and stuff. So just, you know, pay attention and we'll go through that. I usually do each stretch for about 15 seconds, depending on how sore I am. Sometimes I go longer, and that's about it. All right, guys, I went into the bathroom to record a little bit because there's a lot of loud noises from the classes that are going on out there, and I want you guys to kind of be able to hear what I'm saying. Obviously, we have a nice good warm-up. I'm pretty sweaty right now, and we stretched out. So now let's get into the core of the workout I'm gonna show you guys today. So I didn't invent this workout. This was actually taught to me by a buddy of mine when I was back bodybuilding and I was lifting over at a YMCA in Connecticut. He called this the 10 by 10 workout, and I've kind of tweaked it and modified it so that way it works a little bit better for me. But this is the basic premise of the workout that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you my setup. So the basic premise is you pick 3 exercises. All 3 of the exercises don't have to correlate with one another, but in my opinion, I like to do them all with the muscle group I'm training for that day. So if I'm doing chest, pick 3 chest exercises. In today's case, I picked flat bench, dumbbell flies, and push-ups. It's called the 10 by 10 because you're going 10 sets of 10 reps, but it's a tri-set. A tri-set is basically a 3 times superset. So you're doing one exercise without any rest or with as little rest as possible. Go right on to the next exercise. Once that exercise is done, again, with little to no rest, try and move on to the 3rd exercise. Once you complete the 3rd exercise and you've done all 3, that's considered one set. Then you start all the way back at the beginning exercise and you just continue, rinse and repeat from there. You do this until you reach 10 total sets. So if you think about this, you're actually doing 300 reps total. This is really important because it works on muscular endurance, which is what's really, really important for fighting, because you don't want your muscles to burn out in the middle of a fight. You want to be able to keep going and outlast your opponent. So let's go see what I got. All right, guys, I'm gonna talk pretty close to the microphone. I know it's hard to hear me because there's weights slamming in the background and there's classes going on, but just try and listen as best you can. So on this workout, you're gonna wanna stay relatively light because you're gonna be doing a crap load of reps in a very short period of time. Right now, I have 135 pounds on the bench, which is still a little bit heavy even for me, but I feel good today, so I'm gonna push that out. Normally I go about 35s on each side or even 25 sometimes. My dumbbells for the flies are 30-pound dumbbells, and then obviously the push-ups are just push-ups. So once again, we're doing 10 sets of 10 reps each exercise. 10, 10, 10. Start back at the beginning, 10, 10, 10, and do that until you reach your 10th set. I have a love-hate relationship with this workout because it works, but it also sucks. But the things that are going to improve you are going to suck, so let's just suck it up and do it right now. Three sets in, and this already really sucks. If you're burning out and you're finding it hard to complete reps, that means you're doing it right. Halfway there. This is actually set number 6. I just didn't record a few because I wanted to burn it out, but we'll do set number 6 now. Three left. I didn't record set 8, but I'll record the last 2, set 9 and set 10. If you guys noticed, I actually failed on the bench on that last set. That's actually totally okay. It's kind of to be expected on this kind of workout because you're pushing your muscles to a limit. If that happens and you can't get 10 total reps during the exercise, rack it or put the weights down. Give it literally between 3 and 5 seconds of rest. Pick the weights back up and then continue from the rep you failed on. So if you failed on rep 7, rest for like 5 seconds, shake it out, pick the weights back up, and then do reps 8, 9, and 10. Okay guys, back in the bathroom again just to explain the next section. So the weightlifting section of the workout is actually over. Like I said, it is not a long weightlifting session, but when you get done with it, you should be totally burnt out. Your muscles should be shot. Now normally, if you were just weightlifting, the workout would be done there. But me, as a fighter and as a martial artist, I like to add a little thing at the end, and that's bag work. After every workout of weightlifting, I usually do 3 3-minute rounds of heavy bag work with a minute of rest in between. My ideology behind doing bag work when my muscles are exhausted are, if I'm able to punch pretty darn quick, even with exhausted muscles, how am I gonna punch and how fast am I gonna be and how efficient am I gonna be when my muscles are fresh? So burn your muscles out and then go do bag work. I promise that after doing that for a little bit of a period of time, when you go and you hit the bag when you're fresh, you'll feel like Neo in the Matrix. It's pretty crazy. So let's go downstairs, hit the heavy bags, and let's do that now. Okay guys, so remember, like I said, three-minute rounds with 1 minute of rest in between. When you do this, go as hard as you can. You should get really tired. Okay guys, that was the last round. Let's head back to the truck real quick, and then we can discuss a few more things before class ends for the day. Okay guys, we're back in the truck, and workout's over. It should really only take you, depending on how fit you are, depending on your ability to push, many different aspects and stuff like that. It should really only take you about an hour to complete that specific workout. The 10 by 10 is an absolute killer. It'll burn you out super, super fast. But then you should always do some sort of bag work after to practice your basics and your fundamentals. Two quick things to note about the bag work after you lift, and that's that if you feel like you're sluggish, you're not hitting the bag nearly as quickly as you usually can. That's completely 100% normal. In there just now, I was feeling super sluggish, but that's because your muscles are burnt out. I was hitting the bag and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm not nearly as fast as I usually am. It's because your muscles are tired, and that's the whole point. You want to be able to try and punch as fast as you can with as good of a technique as you possibly can manage while you're exhausted. So that way, once you're not exhausted, if you're just walking down the street and you're feeling fine, you haven't done any sort of workout for at least a day or a few hours, and your muscles are recovered, you are going to be able to punch twice as fast as that in there. And that's the key. If we constantly train ourselves in kind of situations where we are at a disadvantage, but we are still able to make it work and adapt and do what we need to do in order to get the job done or defend ourselves while at that disadvantage. When you don't have the disadvantage, really, you'll be even more of a beast. So that's how I like to train my body in order to maintain speed and power and flexibility while still maintaining a little bit of size. The other thing about the bag work is that you should be exhausted. It doesn't matter who you are. If you take a person who is in really good shape, but you tell them to go at 100% of their ability, 100% of their speed, 100% of their power, you're gonna get tired fairly quickly. I don't care who you are. I have people that have told me plenty of times, oh man, I have cardio for days, and I'm sure you do, but how long can your cardio last when you are putting out 100%? You can't push past any more than that. You're at 100% of your speed, 100% of your power. You're gonna get tired fairly quickly. And that's how you should do that bag work. Still maintain as good of a form as you can, because the fundamentals of fighting are super important. You need to practice those, but all at the same time, you need to make sure you're pushing yourself, because in the fight, it's gonna be 100%. So I hope you guys found that informative and educational. I hope it helped a few of you out. If you guys really wanna see more workouts later on that I like to do and different methods, because the 10x10 is not the only method that I use. I use a lot of other different methods to kind of confuse my body. Then let me know and I'll be happy to do those as well. It's time for me to have my protein shake. I'll also do videos for supplements, the supplements that I take anyway. I take a bunch of stuff for joints and for my brain and stuff like that because of getting hit so damn much. You want to have, you know, something high in protein. The golden hour after your workout, usually there's this thing called the golden hour, which is the hour after your workout. Your body absorbs protein better than it does the rest of the time, and that's because it knows that it needs it because your muscles are a little bit torn up. So I usually have one waiting for me in my bag, so that way I can just chug it on my way home. But if there is nothing else for me, then I have nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you like what you saw and you want to see more, well then you know what to do. I am Instructor Holland. Class is dismissed. I hope you guys have a safe and happy weekend, and as always, be safe, be prepared, be fit and healthy, and remember, victory loves preparation. Have a good one, guys.